been?
Man, I've been good, man. I've been busy. I was up in Indianapolis last week.
Oh
Getting
yeah.
ready to go to Dallas this week.
Okay. Where you from, Kyle?
I'm from Hearn, Texas,
Okay.
just north of Castilleja.
Just north of College Station. Okay. And you what school did you go to and stuff?
I went to Southwestern University for a year and a half. And then I transferred to Texas A&M to finish up.
Okay. And just tell everybody, your position and how you did in your playing career, like any accolades and accomplishments you got.
I play wide receiver. Um, I've actually played a myriad of positions, man. I started my college career off as DB, and just over time decided to make that position change. Um, just recently, probably the past the past year and a half is when I really started to put myself out there as wide receiver. So my first stint at wide receiver was in the spring league, and I got Coach's Choice Award there. Other than that, it's just been proving myself a lot.
So you feel like coming from a smaller school, stepping up, you think that gave you a chip on your shoulder when you got there?
Most definitely, man. So what I learned real quick at a smaller school, the talent is there. A lot of people, a lot of young athletes probably overlook smaller schools because it is a smaller school. The talent's there. You can find talent anywhere. If you can play, you can play. The size, the strength, the speed changes a lot, but the talent doesn't change for the most part. And you just got to keep working your craft. And coming from a small school, being overlooked, I've gone to workouts, tryouts, talk with scouts and coaches, and the first thing they ask is, "Where'd you go to school?" And if you're not throwing out D1, D2, or having All-American behind your name at D3, you're fighting an uphill battle. So
Right.
most definitely, I gotta have a chip on my shoulder.
Right. So how do you feel like that transition worked out for you?
It worked out for the better for me. DB was something I really, really had to work at. Probably just to be average, you know. Receiver just came natural for me. So when I really started honing in on my skills as a receiver, with that natural feel to it, I was able to become more than just an average athlete at that position. And I've grown, and as I learn, I've become better. It's all about learning, just working your craft every day. And I've probably put more hours in the past year and a half than I did over 2 years as a DB. It's just I'm happier in the position I am than I used to be, and that's a big part. If you're happy doing what you're doing, you can put a lot more time into it.
Right. And obviously, I mean, because I play receiver, so I can understand where you're coming from. It's just a lot. You have a lot more freedom. I tell people, versus playing DB, because I mean, they don't know what you're doing, so they have to react to you. So,
Exactly.
how much time do you feel like you put into your craft now after you're a receiver? How much time do you put into your craft at receiver now, more so than you did at DB?
Oh man, that's a tough question. I mean, the work ethic has always been there. It's never really changed. Um, I would say not so much me putting in more work now than I did before. I would say it's more focused on the actual receiver skills more so than before. I always felt like I was lacking at defensive back because of my size, being a shorter DB. And so I really worked a lot of, foot speed, linear speed, being stronger because I was shorter, so I could hold my own going against bigger, stronger receivers. When I made that position change to receiver, I still worked all, foot speed, linear speed, all that good stuff. But it was for the first time I could really use my own skills to my benefit. I could make what I was already good at work for me. DB, I couldn't do that. I had to, I felt like I was almost trying to fit a mold that wasn't me.
Okay. Nah, man, that makes sense because it's a lot of people that switch to receiver real late and they end up having a career. So, I mean, obviously you got to plan time and work to get to where you want to be an elite receiver. But it's a lot more freedom and stuff and nuances through route running that can help you excel and stuff too. So, did you have any coaches that had a great impact on you, or are you doing any training right now with a receiver specialist or something like that?
I've gone through, a good amount of trainers throughout the years, and I've learned something, from each of them that I still use today. But when I made my transition to receiver, I think the coach that had the most impact on me was Terrence Tolliver. He was he was an LSU, a star wide receiver at LSU when he played. Then he had a stint in the NFL and spent some time in the CFL, and it's crazy how life works because we met up and started working at the same high school. And we just got to talking, and he offered to train, and so we just linked up. And I think that's when I really started becoming a receiver, more than just an athlete running routes. I really started to learn the craft at receiver, really, the small little details that set you apart from everybody else. Route running, catching, that receiver mentality. I really developed a lot of that when I started working with him.
Right. Okay. So, what's your height and weight right now?
Man, I always thought I was 5'10", but this combine I went to last week, they said I was like 5'9" and 3/4. I was like, man, y'all could have given me that quarter.
Yeah, I mean, hey, once you put the cleats on, you'll be 6 foot, so it really don't matter.
Yeah.
But where are you looking to play at right now? Have you been in any interest or anything, or just trying to see what you get?
I've been putting my name out there, and I understand it's a process, and with me not having the college background to back me, I've been trying to get film, any way I can, without risking my playing career, hurting myself, just trying to get film, before it really takes off. Yeah, I mean it's tough. I don't want to just limit myself, but I would say CFL, XFL, NFL opportunities. Arena, I think about it a lot. I used to play arena. I had a short stint with the Texas Revolution before they folded. But the position I'm in now, the job I have now, and my daughter and my fiance, it would be really hard. I don't see myself uprooting my family, moving them across state or out of state to play arena football, just looking at how much they pay. And I know that as bad as that sounds, like, it's for the money. It's not, it's not about the money. But, with my daughter, I got to take care of family. Family comes first. An arena is just not something to be able for me to, support them financially. And so that's just a tough decision. If it wasn't, if it was all me on my own, I would most definitely, arena. But, I got other priorities, that actually come before football, and a lot of people are like, oh, don't say that. But no, my fiance and my daughter definitely come before my playing career. I got to take care of them first. And, going arena it would be a tough decision for me to make if I ever made that decision. So
Right.
I would just say XFL, CFL, NFL.
Okay. Nah, man, it makes sense. I mean, I feel like people understand that what you're trying to do, you're trying to feed your family. So, I mean, instantly, I feel like that would just give you some more motivation. We coming out of COVID right now.
Yes.
So what's kept you motivated, like, throughout the quarantine and this whole COVID process with everything, like, you're limited to do?
I think COVID and the quarantine, I'm really starting to feel those effects now. That whole first year. So I was in the spring league in March of 2020, and that's really when all this stuff started to, really blow up. And I had a standout performance there. I did well. That's when I got that Coach's Choice Award. But then a week later, they shut the country down. So any opportunity that would have arose from that just went away. They weren't bringing guys in for workouts, and that went on. Months before they started bringing guys in. And so I think it sucked, but for me, I took that as a blessing in disguise. So when I was playing at the spring league, I went into camp with a mild hamstring strain, which turned into me pulling both hamstrings later in camp. And so, even if I had an opportunity, I wasn't going to be 100%. I wasn't going to be ready. So I took it as okay, well, this is, God giving me time to get back to where I need to be. And so I did. I feel better than I was before. And I just went to this combine in Indianapolis. I got another thing coming up in Dallas, the showcase this weekend in Dallas. Hopefully I can put some good film on tape. The COVID's still going on. Who's to say it doesn't, blow up like it did last time and they shut the country down again. And so it's kind of like a big question mark now. I think now I'm really feeling the effects. Not so much then because I knew I had to heal, but now if something were to, COVID were to shut everything down, it'd be like, man, another year, another few months, opportunities missed. It's, the effects I'm really starting to feel now. But it's just trusting God's timing, having faith. Everybody wants everything to happen now, and it's not. If it's meant, His will is meant for you to make it, and whatever it is you're trying to pursue, it's going to happen. You got to, faith of a mustard seed and just, put in the work and just what happens, happens. It's not for me to make that call. It's for Him.
Right. Appreciate that wisdom, Kyle. And, you kind of touched on the spring league. A lot of people don't know what the spring league really is. So could you just give us just a quick breakdown or rundown of just what the league is as a whole and how they run their teams and do the tryouts and stuff for y'all?
Yeah. So just recently, they've decided to you have to attend a combine to be accepted into the spring league. That just happens the first time they're doing that. Before that, you would just put in your application and they would accept or decline you. I've actually been to the spring league twice. Both experiences are similar. They run it really well. The one I went to in Las Vegas was really well organized. You have a bunch of guys coming in from all over, America, and they're either, have CFL experience, NFL experience, out of college looking, to make that breakthrough, or, elite free agents like myself. And we just come together, split us up on the teams, and it's about high-level football, putting elite, organized football on tape for scouts to see. They split us up on the teams. We go through a playbook. Coach Terry Shea is the head coach, so he spent time with the Chiefs, the Dolphins, and so we're running an NFL playbook. We have meetings, every morning, every night. I think I counted out in 3 days. I learned 43 plays, different formations, audibles, all that stuff in 3 days to be ready for the game. So we go through practice, even about depending on how you do it. Some are 2 games, some are 1 game. It just depends what the spring league is offering at that time. But you go through 3 days of practice, and then you have a live game, and they film everything, practice to game. So for guys that are looking to get filmed, it's definitely an opportunity worth looking at.
Okay, appreciate that, man. So you said you played how many games? You said it was 2 games, or how long is y'all season?
When I went to the spring league in Vegas, it was 2 games. I played in 1. The practice before the second game was when I pulled both hamstrings. It was just kind of when I went in with that hamstring strain, but not having any film, my mindset at that time was, I'm gonna run till I can't run.
Yeah, play through it.
I think back on it, man, that was kind of stupid. I could have really hurt myself and not been able to play, but it worked out. And my first day there, I took off running. It was a comeback route, and it aggravated it. And I was like, man, I'm not gonna be able to do this. I didn't practice the rest of that practice Came out the next day. I was like, man, whatever I got to do, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna run. So I think I recovered like crazy that day. Went swimming, icy hot, rolling, like stretching, all kinds of stuff. And man, it was a divine healing those next few days. Because those next 3 days of practice, it didn't bother me. In the game on that Saturday, it didn't bother me at all. Like it almost felt like it was gone. So we had that Sunday off. And then so Monday came, I started warming up, and it wasn't bothering me. So it's just, I wasn't worried about it, but it was still there. And so I just opened up on a seam route, and it just got me. I overstrided and just, took my bad leg, and then I tried to overcompensate on my good leg and took that one. And it was just like, damn, like that was it. I was proud of my performance there. I wish I could have played in that last game, got some more film. But I did what I had to do, and, I made an impact. I got noticed, and that's what I wanted to do while I went there. So I can't be mad about it.
Okay. Did you happen to play with somebody or play against somebody that ended up landing a contract or something from the CFL, like during those 2 games? Or
can you say that one more time? You cut out.
did you happen to play with anybody that like ended up getting a contract or anything during that 2-day span or 2-game span?
Yeah, I say that because I'm sure I did. I'd probably have to go back and look. I wouldn't know their names off the top of my head.
Okay. No, I saw good, man.
I know I played with Nick Truesdale when I went to the Spring League in Miami, and he had a stint in the AAF when they had it, and then the XFL as well. Spring League Las Vegas. I'd have to go back and look, man. I wouldn't know off the top of my head. But there was there was a lot of good talent there. Zach Mettenberger was the quarterback when I was there. That was the first name that popped off my head. Fred Taylor's son was there. There was some good talent there. There really was.
Okay. So, we're going into the league now where, you're in the off season. Sorry. So who would you say you model your game after in the NFL?
It's pretty cliche because every slot receiver wants to be like Julian Edelman. But most definitely I have to say Julian Edelman. If not Julian Edelman, that's really the main guy that popped into my head that's playing right now. Because we do our job and we do it well. We don't do extra.
Right.
We don't do all that fancy stuff. Like, we know our job. We do what we have to do, whether it's, blocking, whether it's a dummy route, whether it's, run a 5-yard ball and catch it, get out of bounds or get up the field, fight for every yard. Like, we do what we're supposed to do. I like to call it quarterback friendly. The quarterback can trust that we're going to do what we're supposed to do and be what we're supposed to be every time.
Okay. I like that answer, man. That's real important in today's game. It's a quarterback's game now. You see these guys getting paid all the big bucks. You got to have somebody that can, help them out and be QB friendly. What would you say is your favorite football playing experience so far?
I would say my first year in college at Southwestern University was my favorite experience because it was my first time playing football, and I was really on my own. I had to make a name for myself. Growing up, I had cousins that came before me. My brother came before me. I went to high school where all my family went. Everybody knew who I was. So it was kind of already had that label on me, like, oh, he's a good athlete. He's going to play. But going to college, everybody's a good athlete. It's the first time where you really have to make a name for yourself and put yourself out there, like what separates you from everybody else. And I would say that was just a fun experience going through the whole thing when the coaches don't know who you are, but when they really start, they start saying your name, you start getting noticed. Like, that's a good feeling because you're doing something right.
Right. Okay. So, how would you say the players and coaches that you've played with up to this point? How would you say they describe you as a player?
Uh, Selfless, put the team above me. It's not for me. It's not. I could care less if I had a catch the whole game. As long as we win the game, right? It's about winning games, and the higher level competition you get to, the harder it is to win a game. I would say the first thing I would say is just selfless play, and then the second thing is just very determined. Like I'm probably one of the few guys you'll ever meet that doesn't speak on the field and talk trash. But because of that, I don't get rattled very easy. Like it's very hard for you to get in my head because you're not going to get a response from me. The only response you probably get is like, "Oh, good play, man." Like that's it.
Yeah.
Like I'm a nice guy when outside the whistles. Once the ball snapped up until the whistle blows, I'm not saying nothing. I'm just whooping your butt.
Yeah.
But after that whistle blows, it's turning that switch on and off real quick. But I'm very determined when I'm on the field. Like the goal is to put the ball in the end zone. Period. Right. All the other stuff can be put aside. You do your play, or you do your job on that play, every play, until the ball gets in the end zone. If it doesn't get in the end zone, we didn't do something right. And so we got to fix it. And so I would say, guys that I've played with in the past, A, they're going to stay selfless, and B, they're going to stay determined, focused, quick. I've had guys come to me and just, tell me how quick I am, just how good of an athlete I was, or am. And, I just take it as it is, in one ear out the other. I'm never going to be as good as I want to be. I'm always wanting to be better than I actually am. And I think that's a good thing for any athlete to have, constantly working to be better than you are, right? I'm a long way from where I came, but I'm a long way from where I want to be.
Right. You know what you just described yourself as, right, Cal? You sound like a winning football player, man. That's what people like. That's what people like to hear, dog. But moving along, what would you just say define success for you, like for football wise? Like, what would be successful for you?
For me, it would just be getting that opportunity that I've been looking for. I don't have to go on to have, all these records, Hall of Fame career, all that. That is great. And if I ever make a team, I'm gonna do everything I can. If that stuff comes, it comes. But that's not the only thing that's not what's on my mind. Is I want to be a Hall of Famer. I want to do all this and that. If it comes, it comes. Right now, in the position I am in, success for me would be to get that opportunity, to get my foot in the door, whether it's practice squad, whether it's a mini camp, training camp, whether it's, just coming in for a team workout. That is success for me right now. All right? I don't want to think too far ahead, because I got to get that opportunity first. So in the position I'm in, it would be just to get that opportunity. And then what I do with that opportunity from there, I better not blow it.
Right. Man, you sound like a real good winning football player. You got a good head on your shoulders. So, just moving away from football real quick, what do you like to do for fun? Like, when you do have free time or anything?
Yeah. So I'm a teacher at a junior high, and so I love helping the kids out, but I think more of my passion lies outside of football is really training athletes. I love the strength and conditioning realm, all that stuff, making athletes bigger, faster, stronger, and better for their sport. Not so much the actual skills aspect, so not like, we got receiver training today, let's go work our skills. It's like, no, I really want to get the kids in the weight room, on the field, teach them how to move and utilize their bodies to be more successful in their sport, and that transcends all sports, football, basketball, softball.